Hey Zook family, it's Friday night. You know what that means? It's the mic drop with another trance heavyweight. We have Dennis Shepperd with us, and then straight afterwards, we're going to have an hour mix from the man himself. He's currently in lockdown in Berlin. Dennis, how are you?
I'm doing actually really good here in the lockdown. How about you?
Hey man, I would say I'm not bored. I would love to get out. But on Zook Digital, we've been coming up with so much content. We've been doing 7 workouts a week, 7 interviews a week, cocktail classes, DJ mixes, of which you're falling nicely into. But what have you been up to? What have you been doing during this time? I'm guessing you've been making some music.
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing a lot of new music. I've been very, very productive. I've found a new love for cooking again. So I've lost that the last few years a little bit, but now I'm back into it. Because gyms were closed, I've been doing a lot of home workouts as well, calisthenic stuff with a pull-up bar and like stripes and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been keeping busy, definitely.
It's super that you've been so productive. That's the best way to be. We have this time and to use it wisely. I'm a huge fan of Berlin. I spent quite a bit of time in Germany. Ich spreche Deutsch auch, but for this I will stick to English for the people listening. But tell me about your pathway into trance, because obviously Germany is a very strong techno community as well. I know Berlin is infamous for the techno community. So give us a bit of background on how you ended up to where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, that's true about Berlin, but end of the 90s, trance was huge in Germany. And that's when I was around 13, 15 years old. And a friend of mine introduced me to the trance sound, and I immediately fell in love with the likes of Paul van Dyk. Blank & Jones were huge back then. And members of Mayday. It was an act for one of the biggest events in Germany called Mayday. And I immediately fell in love with the trance music. Then I discovered some other genres, went a little bit off, and around 2005 and 6, when I started producing music, I fell back into in love with trance. So that was really nice. And then, of course, I discovered like Armin van Buuren, A State of Trance, things like that. But that wasn't huge back in end of the 90s when I really first fell in love with trance. And it was a little bit of a journey, but
it's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, some of your original tracks, you look back. You look at Tribute to Life, you look at Fallen Angel, they're classics, they're tunes that come into a lot of people's top 10 tracks of trance. So how has trance changed for you? Because you look at original trance, you're going back that far. I'm probably the same age as you. We're both old men when it comes to this. You talk about Paul van Dyk for an Angel, you talk about those original tunes, ATB's tracks, even all the way back. How has the scene changed, and how do you feel that trance acts are adapting to the change in sound?
End of the 90s, of course, it was way faster, but it was also very new. So everyone was experimenting a lot. And then I think in the meantime, people got stuck a little bit on the sound. But then around 2006 and 7, there was like this new progressive trance sound that I really fell in love with. And that was kind of new because it was almost like a mixture of house and trance. So it was a little bit slower and super exciting for me. And I've always been drawn more to the slower side of trance, so not so much the fast trance, although occasionally I really like tracks in that field as well, but usually the slower trance. And I feel trance is constantly changing, especially as producers. We always look for something new and exciting, and we always try to get influenced by other genres, whatever is trendy, so to make something new. Because if you always do the same for years and years and years, it doesn't only get boring for the listener, but also for the producer. So, and I think trance so far did a good job of incorporating, other things from other styles and so on. So it's still an exciting sound for sure.
It's got a sound that's got a huge following here. I know that it's got a huge following around the world. You look at North America, you look at Eastern Europe as well, but definitely in Malaysia, it's one of the leading sounds. For the fans out here, we see a gravitation from trance fans that move maybe into the slower movement of techno, but also in the faster movement of hardstyle. You've played in about 28 countries, I know, and you've been around the world touring. Where do you see the strongest following for you? Where do you love to play?
It has changed over the years. So in the beginning of my career, I really loved Russia because the trance sound was huge there, and I played in small towns somewhere in the mountains. In a small mini bar, and the bar was packed, and like people went nuts for trance. And unfortunately, that has changed a little bit. But I really love my gigs in Israel as well. I've played a few times in Israel. Huge trance scene. Everyone could sing along the tracks I was playing. Also, Fallen Angel, my track. And lately, I've been really enjoying touring in Southeast Asia, to be honest. Like I've had a few gigs in Thailand, in Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia, Bali, Jakarta. So I feel that the scene is growing in Southeast Asia. So there's a lot of excitement there. And I like the people, I like the weather, the culture. So always enjoy coming there.
So you unfortunately haven't managed to add Malaysia to that list. So I'm going to shotgun the opportunity to be the first to welcome you to do that. We would love to.
Amazing.
Obviously, this year is a very big question mark, but hopefully in 2021 we can put 2020 behind us and look forward to something exciting next year. I'm going to deep dive into some of the things you mentioned so far. I want to get to know Dennis Shepperd a bit better, and you've mentioned a few different things you've been doing, the calisthenics, the home workout. So I'm going to start off softly with the music. What was your inspiration to get into DJing?
To be honest, it's not such a super nice story. It's more like it was actually my uncle. He started producing music, but with a very amateur software, and he has always been like some kind of an idol for me. And back then I was very, very impressed by what he produced, and I thought I want to give it a shot as well. And it was more like a fun thing, you know, like more like a hobby. And it wasn't, I never had this master plan of becoming a DJ or producer. It just kind of developed that way. But it's also my kind of personality, because when I do something, I always do it properly. So I really dive deep into music production and approached better and better labels, had more and more success, and then it kind of just developed that way. But I also studied, I studied business, and I finished my studies as well, next to DJing in Russia and stuff like that. So yeah, it was always like a parallel thing, and then I made it my main business at one point. Yeah.
Very multi-skilled there, Dennis, very multi-skilled there. So your dream collaboration?
Probably Armin van Buuren, because he's not only a great producer, in my opinion, and he really is. Like, I mean, there is this kind of rumor that he's ghost produced, or well, he's mostly co-produced right now by Rank One, Benno de Goey, but he definitely can produce. I mean, he produced his early hits like Shivers all by himself. So he's a great producer, but he's also a great person that I could learn a lot from just by sitting next to him, asking him, you know, like random questions about how he handles, you know, time management, business, how he built the team around him that he has, things like that. I think I could just learn a lot from him by being in the studio and just asking random questions. Yeah.
You're very similar to me. I'm a highly irritating person. Whenever Marcus or Ferry or these guys come, I probe them for advice and how they got to where they are. I'm sure they'd kind of go, geez, stop asking me questions. But that's fantastic. So let's move outside the music. You touched on your cooking. So I'm guessing the answer to this question, home cooked or takeaway food?
No, both actually. I love both, but when I have the time, I prefer the home cooking because I know what is in there.
And your favorite meal?
Pizza, actually.
I was not expecting that. I thought maybe bratwurst or anything else, but no.
You know what? I don't like German food at all. But yeah, pizza, I love takeaway pizza, of course, from my favorite spots here in Berlin. That not super successfully, but I'm still on it. And yeah, kind of perfectionizing the pizza recipe that I have.
Well, I look forward. We have a few pizza restaurants here. We have a successful one called Motorina Pizza in our resort. So I look forward to treating you to that whenever you come over.
Nice.
What's your favorite Asian food?
Favorite Asian food? Probably red Thai curry.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
So
With chicken.
does that mean you can take your spice?
Oh yeah, for sure, easily. I mean, my list. So my top three foods would probably be Italian, then Indian, which is very spicy, and then I would say probably Thai. So and Thai can be extremely spicy, and I love it. It's,
I'm
yeah.
very impressed, Dennis. You have a good palate there, very strong palate. So you moved into the calisthenics stage, you mentioned. So I'm guessing you like to work out and stay fit. What's your choice of workout?
So before the lockdown, I used to go to the gym and did like like usually whole body plans, 2 different days, and then like compound movements like deadlifts and squats and things like that. But since there's the lockdown, I had to look for other options and possibilities, and then I really fell in love with calisthenics. So been doing just a lot of like body weight exercises, but don't underestimate it. Like before that, I kind of did like squats and stuff with like 70 kilograms and like almost my body weight, and the deadlifts with over 100 kilograms and stuff. But the body weight exercises can be very, very intense. Like there are different ways on how to do them, and then they can be extremely hard. So I really found a new love for that. Like it's a lot of fun because you just not only train with weights, but you also try to teach yourself skills. For example, I've been trying to do a handstand and stuff like that. So, you get these skills as well as getting the weight training. So that's good.
It's very interesting you say that. One of the instructors we use for our online content for fitness is the person who taught me how to do a handstand. I remember feeling so excited when I did it the first time, but I must admit, I can only do it leaning against the wall. I can't do it on my own yet.
Me as well, for now. But I have goals.
So I ask all the DJs this. Dennis Shepperd represents Germany in the Olympics. What is the discipline?
Probably sprinting.
Wow,
I always used to be a good sprinter. I was also a football player back then when I was a teenager. I was always super fast. Almost broke the school record back in the days.
Wow, and you just touched on football. Who is your team?
Berlin, actually. But it was Berlin even before I moved to Berlin. I really like the team.
Hertha Berlin.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that raises me on to my next question, and Orjan Nielsen was very gung-ho about this. Can you play FIFA?
FIFA? Oh, it's been years. I think I was a good player back then, but probably not anymore because I don't really play games that much anymore, unfortunately. Yeah.
I'm the same, but he's laid down the gauntlet of some challenges later in the year, so we might draw you in for that. We might.
Okay, sounds good.
But Dennis, look, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to us. It's been really fascinating to get to know you better, and we're really excited about your mix coming up. You touched on making some music. Is there anything you can share with us about what's coming up in the next few months from Dennis Shepperd?
Yeah, I have actually. Next month there's a new remix by Richard Durand for our 3-way collaboration between Richard, Roger Shah, and myself. And he did a new remix of Malem Bahasa Night. So that one is coming up next month. And then after that, I've also finished a new release with Katy Heath. And a lot of my fans will know the name because Where Begin, my collaboration with her, is a fan favorite. And I'm super excited about that track. This time for the first time, I also co-wrote the lyrics and the vocals. So I sat in the studio with her and we developed the lyrics ourselves and stuff. So pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm very proud of that track.
That's very cool, and we learned that you have many strings to your bow there, and we look forward to. Please share it with us so that we can share it on our socials in Singapore, Malaysia, and Vegas. We look forward to the new music coming out.
Thank you.
So, Dennis, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Stay safe, and we will be in touch. And we look forward to seeing you in Malaysia in 2021.
Yeah, for sure. See you then. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.